Wisdom never becomes perfect in one whose mind is not steadfast, who does not know the Buddha's teaching and whose faith wavers. There is no fear for an awakened one whose mind is not saturated by lust, nor afflicted by hate, and who has gone beyond both merit and demerit.
Wisdom does not grow if mind wavers. The wide awake is unfrightened. The story of monk Siddhartha. While residing at the Jetavana monastery, the Buddha spoke these verses regarding a monk named Siddhartha. A young boy of a respectable family, a herdsman living at Savatthi, went into the forest to look for a lost ox. During midday, he found the ox and released the herds. Oppressed by hunger and thirst, he thought, "I can surely get something to eat from the noble monks." So, he entered the monastery, went to the monks, bowed to them, and stood respectfully on one side. When the monks saw the exhausted and hungry boy, they gave him food to take and eat. When the Buddha is living in the world, there is always a plentiful supply of rice porridge, together with various sauces. So, the young boy took and ate as much food as he needed, drank water, washed his hands, bowed to the monks, and asked them, "Venerable, did you go to some house by invitation today?" "No, lay disciple. Monks always receive food this way." Then the boy thought to himself, "No matter how busy and active we may be, though we work continually both by night and by day, we never get rice porridge so deliciously seasoned. But these monks, according to what they said, eat it continually. So why should I remain a lay person any longer? I will become a monk." Accordingly, he approached the monks and asked to be admitted into the Sangha. The monks told him, "Very well, lay disciple," and received him into the Sangha. After making his full profession, he performed all the major and minor duties. In a few days, sharing in the rich offerings which accrue in the Buddha's dispensation, he became fat and comfortable. Then he thought to himself, "Why should I live on food obtained by making the arms round? I will become a layman once more." So back he went and entered his house. After working in his home for only a few days, his body became thin and weak. Then he said to himself, "Why should I endure this suffering any longer? I will become a monk." So he went and reordained. But after spending a few days as a monk, becoming discontented again, went back to lay life. Again he returned to join the Sangha, where he was welcomed as he used to be one of them. In this manner, he entered the Sangha and left it again 6 times in succession. The monks said to themselves, "This man lives under the sway of his thoughts." So they gave him the name, thought-controlled, Elder Siddhartha. As he was thus going back and forth, his wife became pregnant. The 7th time when he returned from the forest with his farming tools, he was thinking of putting back his yellow robe again as he entered his home. At that moment, his wife was in bed and asleep. Her undergarment had fallen off. Saliva was flowing from her mouth. She was snoring. Her mouth was wide open. She appeared to him like a swollen corpse. Grasping the thought, all that is in this world is transitory and is involved in suffering, he said to himself, "To think that because of her, all the time I have been a monk, I have been unable to continue steadfast in the monastic life." Straightway, taking his yellow robe, he ran out of the house, binding the rope about his belly as he ran. When his mother-in-law saw him departing this way, she said to herself, "This renegade, who but this moment returned from the forest, is running from the house, binding his yellow robe about him as he runs, and is making for the monastery. What is the meaning of this?" Entering the house and seeing her daughter asleep, she immediately knew. It was because he saw her sleeping that he became disgusted and went away. So she shook her daughter and said, "Get up. Your husband saw you asleep, became disgusted and went away. He will not be your husband henceforth. Go away, mother. What does it matter whether he is gone or not? He will be back again in but a few days." As Siddhartha ran on his way, repeating, "All that is in this world is transitory, is involved in suffering," he obtained the fruit of conversion. He went to the monks, bowed to them, and asked to be readmitted into the Sangha. "No," said the monks, "we cannot receive you into the Sangha. Why should you become a monk? Your head is like a grindstone." "Venerable, receive me into the Sangha just this once." Because he had helped them, they received him into the Sangha. After a few days, he attained arahatship and supernatural faculties. Shortly after, the monks told him, "Brother Siddhartha, doubtless you alone will decide when it is time for you to go away again. You have remained here long this time." "Venerables, when I was attached to the world, I went away. But now I have put away attachment to the world. I have no longer any desire to go away." So the monks went to the Buddha and said, "Venerable, we said such and such to this monk, and he said such and such to us in reply. He utters falsehood, says what is not true." The Buddha replied, "Yes, monks, when my son's mind was unsteady, when he didn't know the good law, then he went and came. But now he has renounced both good and evil." This teaching of Buddha Shakyamuni highlights that we should encourage ourselves and never give up on pursuits that are worthy and meaningful. Past failures don't dictate our successes in the future.